All right, so Guilford County Schools Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley is joining us live tonight. She's going to discuss different things happening around the district, but she's also taking your questions. So the number that you see on the side of your screen, that's the number that you're going to text. We're going to put it full screen for you so that you can take a screenshot if you need to. If you need to write it down, 336-379-5775. Throughout our conversation, you can text in your question, and then in about 7 to 10 minutes or so, she'll be answering your questions. Let's start off with this, though. Let's talk about the big ask. GCS asking the county for an additional $50 million in bond funds for HVAC and roofing projects. So let's talk about how many schools does it benefit? What happens if not all the money gets there?
Well, I think it's important to know that these are not new bond dollars. These are bond dollars that have already been approved, and we work very closely with the county on the cash flow model and how the debt's paid off. And so this was part of a recommendation that came through the Joint Facilities Committee just a couple weeks ago, and so the county is well aware of the asks that's coming. We know it fits within the cash flow model and the current bonds that have already been approved both by the voters and the county's model. So we feel confident about the partnership. It impacts about 11 schools in terms of HVAC and large repairs or replacements, and so it's just part of what's going to help us keep going as we get ready to start a new school year.
And we had a couple of those things already this year, whether HVACs or something did not work, so we know that that is a necessary evil.
Yeah, I mean, I think the county has been a great partner in helping us overcome decades of underfunding, and this is just another example of how we do that. Again, it's a close partnership. This is not a new ask. It's how we use dollars for deferred maintenance to be able to honestly just keep schools running. We want to have doors open for kids every day, and we don't have a crystal ball about what's going to break when.
Okay, and so keeping doors open, we're talking about actually shutting the doors of 4 elementary schools, consolidating. So those 4 elementary schools, if you guys haven't heard yet, we've got Madison and Southern. Both of those were set anyway to be gone. Vandalia, Washington Elementary Schools, they were supposed to be rehabbed and reopened, but that's not happening for these schools.
Yeah, so I mean, again, following the facilities master plan, remembering though that that was in 2019.
Right.
So it
and
doesn't.
things have changed.
Things have changed a lot. So we've had a global pandemic, we've had inflation, we have new tariffs. We're not sure of what that's going to lead to. And we've had changes in enrollment, and Guilford County is just like every district like ours across the whole country in terms of how enrollment is kind of fluctuating depending on what kind of the part of the county you're in. So in the schools that have 200 or just under or just over 200 students, that enrollment study kind of led to that recommendation. It's not fiscally responsible. It's not a good use of taxpayer dollars to pay to operate a whole school when it's only half full of kids, or maybe in some cases even less than half. And so also important to know though, we're a year and a half away. So all of the schools, none of these changes would be in place at the earliest until 26, 27. So none of these would take place for this upcoming 25, 26 school year.
And then people want to know, how do you decide how the kids go to different schools?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things that the Department of Public Instruction asks you to take into place. First of all, nobody wants to change where they were supposed to go to high school. We haven't touched a middle school or a high school boundary. Second of all, we want to make sure that we're utilizing our buildings to the fullest extent possible so that we're paying attention to where families are moving. We also want to make sure that we're making decisions that are good for 4 to 5 years. You need to look at enrollment every 4 to 5 years. Think about in 2019, we didn't know Toyota was coming. We didn't know the eastern part of the county was going to be booming. And so these decisions are all taken very seriously.
All right, wanted to talk about one more thing before we head to the break from when we're going to talk about other education stuff. There's a fee that's now going to be happening for driver's ed.
Yeah, and I think that's really statewide. Different counties are doing it at different times. We're falling kind of behind some of the other large districts in terms of that, but in order to keep up with driver's education teachers, there's always a wait list for driver's education, and just the fees that are charged to us. We have to charge a nominal fee to be able to continue driver's education, and are just following suit of other districts like ours.
All right, so we're talking about $65, I believe
Yes,
it is,
that's
right?
right.
Because the state covers the rest of that.
Correct.
Okay.